Hey there on the ROBOTY channel. Today's episode is one you've been waiting for and asking about in the comments. We're going to be making kebabs, mixed meat, sauce of your choice, tortilla or bun. So what are we waiting for? Let's get to work. $45 kilos of meat, so you're planning to sell about 200 of these kebabs today?
Yes.
So, are you saying you make a net profit of 15,000 from this?
About 10?
Today we're starting the episode on the ROBOTY channel in a trailer, and we're going to be making kebabs, and with me is Patricia. Welcome.
Hi, welcome. We'll be making tortillas. We'll be learning how to make our roll. These are our two classic items, and I'll definitely be teaching you how to prepare the meat. And at the end, I'll say something about this business, how to run it, and what it all looks like from the franchisee's perspective.
Sure, I've never prepared meat like this before, so this will definitely be the most important lesson for me, using the machine to shave off those meat slices, right?
Yes, it might be the hardest task at first, but I'm sure we can handle it.
So, should I get to work?
Right, let's change and get ready for the station.
All right.
The most important thing is meat preparation, because without that we can't make any kebab if we don't have anything to make it from. So I always teach a new person this preparation first. This is also the warmest area, the least comfortable conditions, so we always start with this.
Okay.
The worst part first.
We show the worst part first so we can relax later. We're just using an electric cutter, not a machete.
Yes. So we are cutting it with an electric knife. It's very convenient. There are two techniques. I'll show you how I did it at the very beginning. So you use both hands and pull the knife from the top. Knife.
Is it set to a certain thickness?
Yes, we can adjust it because we slice the beef thinly and the chicken a bit thicker. That's just the nature of this meat.
And how do we know when it's cooked enough to be ready to eat?
The color of the meat basically tells us it needs to be a deep brown. And when we slice it, especially the first piece, there shouldn't be any pink inside.
Okay.
And then we know it's cooked. And basically we cut the whole piece all around like that. Later we'll cut it into smaller pieces and put it into our warmer.
So it stays in the warmer for, let's say, some time?
Yes.
So the next layer can warm up?
Yes, we can't prepare the meat fresh for each kebab because the lines would be 2 or 3 hours long.
I noticed this even before we opened the trailer at exactly 10 o'clock.
Yes.
It was your employee who was slicing tomatoes, cucumbers, onions here?
Yes. And she was preparing everything here at the salad bar, adding sauces, adding cabbage, so that at opening she could freely serve the customers.
Okay, and that's already prepared. So the person comes in at 9 to start work?
Yes, because then she has to put in, at the beginning, 2 meat spits, then she starts cutting vegetables and preparing the rest of the salad bar, and at the end she turns on the equipment so that we have a warm grill and hot fryer.
So it's not like when a customer comes at 10, they still have to wait? Like, sorry, it's not heated up yet.
No, everything's ready. They should get their kebab in 5 or 6 minutes.
It takes 6 minutes to make a kebab?
I think so.
Okay, let's see how long it takes me.
We cut it into smaller pieces so that it looks good inside, and especially when we make combo meals or boxes so that people don't just have ribbons, so it's easy to eat.
Okay, and we put it here into...
Exactly, into the warming trays, into that warmer.
Beef and chicken next to each other?
Yes, separately, and here it can just wait calmly.
All right, I'll get to work and test it. Meanwhile, I'll ask you some questions about this business, since it's yours, right?
Yes, I have my own company. The trailer and the lease are under my company. I just operate under the Bafra Kebab logo. I'm a franchisee.
Okay, and what do you get from them?
I get the logo, which means marketing. I get the whole know-how of this business, meaning the trailer we're looking at today. I leased it and it came to me already equipped with all the equipment, the whole know-how of this system.
Orders are coming in.
Yes, maybe I'll answer it for him.
So phone orders are coming in too?
Yes, we take orders by phone where customers come to pick them up in person, and we serve them in detail. Additionally, besides serving at the window,
Okay.
on seat.
So you can get orders from 3 different sources?
Yes, from 3 sales channels.
Orders. The location we're in is some kind of shopping mall, a retail park.
Yes.
Did you choose, let's say, when joining the chain, did you choose this location, or how does it work?
No, the chain actually found this location for me. I had 3 locations to choose from. I just gave a distance range. I said where I live and gave the range that I could commute to, and I set it at 40 kilometers. I had 5 days to choose one location, 5 business days, and I went to see each location myself. I was basically doing my own little market research, like how many cars are in the parking lot here, how many come in, how many people are moving around roughly. I did the same thing at the other 2 locations. This one seemed the best to me at the time, and I think I made a good choice.
All right, so I'm going to slice this meat. I'll see how it's done because they're making kebabs here. Okay.
Yes, we can slice some chicken now, if that's not a problem, I think, or you can do beef too.
I wanted beef because...
All right.
I was just watching how you do it.
We need to let it sit for a bit, and I'll cut up the chicken.
All right, so I'm learning how to cut the chicken.
We cut the chicken into thicker pieces at the blade, right? Mm-hmm. You can see now it goes up and we have to cut it a bit thicker than the beef because these are layers stacked together, thigh with breast.
And it comes to you frozen, right?
Yes.
Here's the freezer.
Yes.
So you don't mix up the knife settings between one and the other, right?
No, it has happened, especially with new employees who don't always keep an eye on that setting. That's why I stay with them for 2 weeks to monitor everything. And that's really about, let's say, building good habits with them.
I have a whole day to learn everything. How to prepare kebabs, rolls in a bun with sauce, vegetables, and fries. So at the end of the day, let me know in the comments how I did at rolling those kebabs, and in a moment, I'll be cutting this kind of meat for the first time in my life. Okay.
All right, and it's done.
First times are always tough, as they say. So how did it go?
That's right, it went well.
Yeah.
It went well. In general, I always prefer slightly thinner slices this way, but for the first time, it's great. Here we have all the weights written down, how much meat, how many fries, because as you noticed here, we weigh the meat on the scale.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And now are we just eyeballing it or doing it like with the vegetables?
Here we use mostly white cabbage, adding full tongs of it along with the other vegetables. About 5 or 6 pieces of tomato, and the same with cucumber and onion.
Okay.
About 6 slices each. If I open like Victoria did today, then between 9 and 1 I'm alone.
Okay.
It's the same for my business partner, and if I switch to the second shift, then there are 2 or 3 of us depending on the day and how busy it is.
All right, but it's the same for the employee, for example.
In the morning, he's alone and opens the booth himself since he has the keys. He comes and opens up.
And you, as a franchisee, also work here, right?
Yes, as an employee, if I'm on the schedule, I put myself down for between 100 and 120 hours.
By yourself?
Alone, yes. And I plan the same for my partner, too. Then we come in and do everything that an employee does, like working the register, taking orders, and cleaning with them.
Okay, and you, let's say, pay yourself, I don't know, like an hourly wage, a daily wage, or do you just take whatever is left at the end of the month from the whole business? Is that what you keep?
In the end, we also have our own salaries, and because we spend so many hours here at the place, we save a lot on labor costs, right?
Okay.
Because if I'm here 100 hours, I save about 3,000, and my business partner does too. With 3 locations, there's always work for us at one of them, right?
Aha, so you rotate between the locations like that?
Yes.
Because I've also heard different opinions that people think they'll just take a trailer as a franchise, get a lease, and it's a gold mine. It operates automatically and they just visit the ATM to get their cash.
No. I actually advise everyone who's considering this business to really think carefully about how much time they can invest in it. I also worked in a corporation for a year, and I already had that. Back then I had 2 trailers. And I just knew I couldn't handle 2 jobs because in each of those jobs, well, I wasn't giving 100% of myself because I just didn't have the strength anymore, and the time came to make a choice. I chose to stay here and run the business on my own because I really liked the fact that I didn't have a boss over me.
Right, since you're your own boss?
Yes, exactly. When I worked in the corporate world, I always had a boss, right?
But you're part of a chain, so someone still controls you.
Sure, I just follow the guidelines that the company has set here, so I get my products through the chain, right? Because all the products are labeled that we see here, the meat, which is made especially for us. And I use the marketing the chain requires. And, okay, I was aware of all this from the very first meeting I had in Warsaw. So I knew I would be working with tools and guidelines, but that's something different than working under a boss.
That's for sure, because here you have your own business, you have your own, let's say, trailer.
Yes.
Clearly it's obtained from a company either leased or bought outright.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm curious, and probably the viewers are too, how much do you pay this company monthly for all of this?
I have a fixed franchise fee, which is 1,000 zlotys net, and it doesn't change. This fee stays the same no matter what my revenue is.
But you must get all products from them.
And I'm obligated to get the products from the chain. So if, I don't know, I make 50,000 in sales a month, 70 or even 100, it's still just 1,000 zlotys.
Okay. You have a system, an ordering tool just for their products, right? So you place an order every week, what?
I have actually four different suppliers, because a separate supplier brings me vegetables 3 times a week. Frozen products come to me separately, like meat, fries, nuggets, and so on. I order all the packaging from Sweet Gallery, exactly what we see here. Boxes for fries, napkins.
And let's say this is still after your work, since you have to count it as work too.
That's right.
Some of them might spend 6 or 8 hours here making kebabs.
Yes.
The other 2 or 3 hours are spent counting invoices and money.
Yes.
Ordering, all that.
Plus the financial results, because I total it up for myself to see how it's going, how much revenue there was during the day, week, month. So I do all of that at home, plus contact with the accountant, plus social media, because I also manage Facebook and TikTok with the girls, and we're building up Instagram.
A lot of work. We'll find out later on if there's much money left over afterward. Because I'm curious about that too, but what I'm most interested in is how to roll these wraps, because that's why I came here. So, Miss Patricia, please teach me how to roll them.
All right.
I've already chopped the meat. Now we need to roll something.
All right.
And how many of these, let's say, kebabs do we make here on site per day?
I think we easily make around 100 tortilla wraps.
You make that daily?
I think on the busier days, yes, like Friday and Saturday.
If it runs out, should we use what's in the freezers?
Yes, later this afternoon we'll put in another roll like that, either 10 or 15 kilograms. So today we'll definitely use about 40 or 45 kilos of meat.
40, 45 kilos of meat, so you expect to sell about 200 kebabs today?
Yes.
I don't know, but have you ever compared the price of this foil at, say, a supermarket chain if you wanted to buy it there?
I compared, and it was only slightly cheaper by 2 or 3 zlotys.
Than the one you have here?
Yes, exactly.
So the chain, let's say, also makes extra money on these products?
Yes.
That you order from them?
They definitely have a slight markup.
A markup ensures the chain profits from those boxes and products.
And I think they also make money on manufacturing the trailer.
Oh, since you get the trailer from them too.
I mean, I'm leasing it for my own company, but they handle the purchase, the entire production, and installing all the equipment here inside.
Okay, and how many of these trailers do you have?
Now I have 3.
Are they all yours, or do you mean they're paid off?
No, they're all leased. I'm halfway through the payments, so I've completed about 2.5 to 3 years.
2.5, so your lease lasts 5 years?
Yes.
And roughly how much is the payment?
3,700.
Gross or net?
Gross.
Gross. 3,700 gross for the trailer per month for 5 years?
Yes.
Okay, is there any down payment?
10%?
10% of the trailer's value?
Yes.
And the value?
And the buyout, I think I have 5%.
Okay, and the value roughly?
It was 160 net when I bought it.
160 net, including grills and ventilation.
Yes.
With refrigerators.
Yes, everything you see here actually came with it. I just had to buy a POS system, which cost 4,000, including the card terminal.
Okay, and to join this network, do you also have to pay some kind of fee?
You don't have to pay anything to join the network. You just lease the trailer and get the logo. If you rent the trailer, then you pay a certain amount to join the network. Right now, that amount is about 40,000 zlotys, and you rent the trailer.
To join?
Yes.
But is there, I don't know, a deposit, an advance payment to even get into?
At the first meeting, if I talk to the representative, then if we want to even start this process with Sweet Gallery, we give a deposit, we pay 10,000.
So a deposit means it's non-refundable if we back out, right?
Then that money is lost. For example, I handled it a bit more safely during the meeting. I didn't pay that money right away because I wanted to calmly study the contract, analyze it, and also review the business plan that I saw at the meeting. Is this business really going to be profitable? Will it generate as much income as is included in the business plan? And after analyzing it, I called the representative again and said, yes, okay, let's sign. And we signed.
And is your dad your business partner?
My dad and I are business partners. We run this company together.
Did you get your dad into kebabs or did your dad get you into it?
No, actually the opposite. My dad brought me into this.
And now my dad is making kebabs.
Exactly.
And now, Since my dad is older, the head of the family, he will judge the kebab I made and we'll talk to him a bit about business.
Okay.
So why kebabs in particular?
Simply, I just like eating kebabs. That's probably why it happened. We were on vacation, started talking, and I said, we can give it a try, right?
Patricia, the kebab is made and eaten.
I hope you liked it.
I'd need to make and eat something like that every 2 hours to feel satisfied. But with so many customers, there's probably no time to eat, right?
No, there isn't, but we do try to take breaks, as I mentioned earlier, about the rotation, especially when working with meat.
But this is the kind of location where there's traffic, let's say. Now it's 11 o'clock, so obviously it's hard to have a lot of customers. But is there a steady flow or...
It varies and it also depends on the day. On Fridays, I can be busy from the morning and on Saturdays as well, but the traffic picks up gradually, especially around lunchtime, so after 2 p.m., and it lasts more or less until the evening hours, until about 7 p.m.
So, how much does such a roll weigh?
There are 20s, 15s, and even 5s if you want to add some at the end of the day to make sure you sell everything.
Okay, because if we don't make it in time, then there's nothing we can do with that meat.
Nothing. We can only use too good to go or food sai, meaning with packages, so that the food doesn't go to waste. But usually we try to calculate it so that for the planned sales, the amount of meat I prepared is enough.
Would you like something, sir? Kebab in a bun. Go ahead, we don't shortchange our customers, so...
Great, we just got a bun, so we'll be able to prepare it. I'm already here.
I'll learn how to make one in a bun now. I said earlier I'm not that into eating them that way, but maybe I'll enjoy making one. On average, how many customers do you serve daily, or how many kebabs do you sell?
Well, for example, yesterday was Tuesday, which is an average day of the week. At this location, there were about 75 transactions. That's over 100 products sold, counting everything: kebabs, fries, nuggets, drinks. That's our full menu, over 100 items. On Fridays and Saturdays, traffic picks up.
Okay, so 170 items, so that's the daily revenue.
Yesterday it was 3,800.
3,800 zlotys in a single day? Yes. Music.
Yes.
In a single day?
Yes. We have a business advisor who is helping us learn this cost discipline, especially at the beginning.
So, after all, the know-how is there after all.
Yes, there is. He appears when the location opens, meaning on opening day. He helps here inside, and later during monthly visits with us, he discusses these costs. And exactly if, for example, they plan the schedule poorly, then that business advisor will tell us how to do it better.
Right. The second point is employees. You should know how to hire them and what contracts to use.
Yes.
What the current rates are.
Yes.
What the employee is entitled to.
And what? Yes.
What they can do, how much they can work.
Later, how to train them so that the training is effective and the employee is ready to work right away.
You can judge for yourselves, but it's not a perfect product. I think we'll eat it ourselves and make a new, nicer one for the customer. No, it will taste good.
It will be good because everything is as it should be. It just looks a bit different aesthetically.
How many employees do you have altogether?
At this location, I have 4 employees. 2 of them come in after school just to work in the afternoons. They help me strengthen the afternoon schedule. And I have 2 girls employed full-time.
Full-time, but on a service contract?
Yes, because they are also studying, but on weekends, and they switch shifts with the students who go to school during the day.
So you have 4 people here, plus you and your dad?
Yes.
And what's the average monthly revenue?
The business plan includes 75,000, but I make a little more than that because I make about 90,000.
You have 90,000 in monthly turnover here on this trailer?
Yes, so that's actually 3,500 in daily takings, and the business plan assumes 2.5 and up.
Okay, but were there other locations?
Yes, I also had a location that was in the Opol region because now we're in the Lubus province, but for personal reasons I decided to move this trailer to Jagan, which is next to Jari, about 20 kilometers away, maybe even a bit less. That location, on the other hand, was in a small town because there were only 2,500 residents and the monthly revenue was much, much lower.
Well, yes, 2,500 residents. Even if everyone came for a kebab in a month, then...
Yes, and even then it still might not be enough.
Right.
So here, this location actually brings in less than the business plan projected. It's about 50,000 per month, and it's actually hard to get those 15,000 out of it, but...
Net?
Net, but I was still making a profit, and I definitely wasn't putting any extra money into the business.
Okay, so you're saying that, for example, you end up with 15,000 net?
About 10 grand plus what I make at the stand, which is also kind of on top of that.
So plus your salary.
Yes, so let's say 13.
Okay.
That's about the average.
Okay, and do you factor in an hourly rate for yourself for that?
Yes, that's separate. Like I settle everything in total, but just to know what the cost discipline is with me and without me.
Okay, so you might have 10,000 left from that location for the, let's say, work that you do around...
Yes.
So, I don't know, let's say orders, placing orders, preparing everything, supervising the employees.
Yes, making schedules, talking with employees, meetings with the accountant, yes, preparing invoices for him. Well, all of that is my job.
Okay, 10?
Plus, I also run social media. Of course, not everyone has to or wants to, but I wanted to get into that area. So I run the Facebook pages for the kebab place, the ice cream place, and the Kovac place.
And does the chain somehow, I don't know, get involved or say don't write this, write that?
No, the chain doesn't get involved in any way, quite the opposite. I can actually use the materials they share with us on the drive. We can freely use those materials, and we can also shoot our own content. It depends on what someone prefers.
The bell rings, more orders are coming in.
And more.
The wraps keep coming. I still have to finish the box.
Yes, the box already comes with fries, so we'll be adding fries as well.
That'll be in just a moment. I did beautifully. Another box is ready, so let them eat.
That's right, enjoy your meal.
Today I worked for a kebab, so I'm having another.
Okay, that's fine.
I wrapped it myself, so I'll eat it myself.
The tortillas rolled really well.
I just had one with fries and beef. Any concluding words for example, future franchisees, maybe from you?
Well, I would definitely advise everyone to calmly think about whether they want to get into this business, to carefully review the business plan presented by the Bafra Kebab Network, and to calmly look around the local market to see how it looks, how much competition there is or will be, and where to set everything up, and also how much time you will put into this business, right? If we already have a full-time job, we need to consider whether someone should help us and how many hours we are able to dedicate to this business. Of course, in my opinion, the more time, the better, but I also know people who run two businesses at the same time and their Bafra business is doing great too. You just need to calmly think everything through and calculate it.
I also believe that not every business is for everyone. That also needs to be noted.
Yes.
Not everyone is suited to work in food service or be a business owner. Some people are ideal employees. And I would also advise not to rush into business if, let's say, someone isn't suited for it at first. Because as we can see from your example, you have to put a lot of heart into it, a lot of work, a lot of yourself, because you also devote a lot of time to it.
Yes.
So the kebabs pay for themselves and make money for you.
Sure.
Because that's important in business.
Or like my dad, just like kebab.
Or like kebab and just make kebabs because you like it.
That's right.
Just liking kebabs doesn't guarantee profit. This is a business, so it must make money. As you mentioned earlier, just to sum up all these costs, on your side there's your work and an employee.
Yes, the cost of the product, the franchise, obviously electricity, leasing, all of that is on my side.
Okay, and one last question, because this also came up somewhere online. The question was, if I leave the chain and I still have 30 or 40 years left on the trailer lease, what can I do with that, for example?
There are different options. You can either keep the trailer and try to change your business somehow. Like in that booth, you could, I don't know, later sell hot dogs or zapiekanki. You can try to sell the trailer on your own, or you can also try to sell it to the chain, meaning to Sweet Gallery.
Maybe it will work out.
Yes, and maybe it will work out. Maybe someone will just buy it, and then we will definitely be able to pay off part of the lease.
All right, I'll finish this kebab. I think we've cleared up a lot of online doubts with this video. We've shown a real franchisee with the real work he puts into these kebabs. I'm glad you invited me here, because that's important too. Exactly, that's also...
Yes.
You mentioned on the phone that you'd seen me somewhere before.
Yes, I saw you from afar at a conference last year. You were speaking, you talked about artificial intelligence, and I'm really glad we could meet in person.
Patricia already mentioned on the call that it's great you're coming, Wojtek, since I know you from the ROBOTY channel.
Yes.
And from the conference I hosted. Thanks so much.
Thank you too.
So good luck in business. So you get to keep not just 10 or 15,000, but even 30.
Thank you.
Since that's important too, we finish our kebab and move on. This is Wojtek Kacmarczyk. I'm really glad you made it to the very end. Thank you for watching this video, and I encourage you to check out more videos on the ROBOTY channel. Click on the next video and see what interesting things I've recorded there.